All right, what's up, folks? Welcome to Foreign and Domestic. It is good to be here. Good to see everyone out there already. Jamie, get us started off right, if you would, sir.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Alan, what's going on, man?
Hello and welcome all to another Foreign and Domestic. I guess I could be a little more lively than that. Man, just been one hell of a week. Running down the participants list: Fuzz Fork 8, Georgia Trapping and Fishing, Kyle reloading from the hot pot, tacos and French fries, Tactical Fud, Vanessa Kitty. List is growing and growing, and the YouTube auditor, which can eat a bowl of dicks.
Daniel, what's happening, man?
Oh, just out shooting the new gun, getting my trigger finger in tune with it. I got the lock grips on it now. I've only got 2 more things to get for it. And yeah, hey, you know how much I always pick on Glocks, so you got to replace the grip and all this stuff. Oh, everything you got to replace on it. I didn't have to replace the trigger. I did replace the grips. I turned my front sight from red into orange, but I'm going to be getting something on there. And I've just only got really one more part of it to work on, but I'm really liking it. And for Fuzzy, hey, dude, I'm going to shoot. I've got ammo put up, brother. He was pinging on me early because he's worried about an ammo shortage. But I started stocking up in Obama 1. So I think I'm okay. But thanks for having me on. And going to turn it over to Jamie.
What's happening, man? Thanks for having me on. Y'all know I've been feeling under the weather. Went to urgent care yesterday and got some steroids and antibiotics and all that crap. And so I'm sitting there watching football today, and game's over. The post game show is over, and you find yourself watching bowling, and it's like you're sick when you find yourself watching bowling. And I don't know how long it's been since any of you guys have watched bowling, but apparently bowling with 2 hands is a thing now. So I thought that once we achieved the technology to be able to drill holes in the bowling balls, that we bowled with 1 hand, and I'm thinking these guys probably load 44 Magnum with trail balls.
The newer generation has such weak wrists that they have to use both hands.
Oh, good to know. But yeah, it's been a while since I've seen any bowling. But these guys they had 2 minutes to knock down as many strikes as they could. It was pretty wild. They were running back and forth and picking up balls and throwing them. And it was interesting, but yeah.
And they're like, they weren't doing the full granny throw though.
No.
So Heath, you're watching that too. It sounds like you watch it pretty regularly.
I think I need to change the channel occasionally because now I'm intrigued.
Well, I mean, look, it is ABP, Allen Pro Bowler. Bowling Pro. Allen Bowling Pro. I don't know, man. I don't know about bowling with 2 hands. I guess you can get used to anything, huh?
Well, a couple of generations ago, they probably thought the same thing when we started using 2 hands on a pistol.
I know some guys that still fuss about that. And he'll be in here in a little while. If he ain't already.
Oh, Fuzzy. He's in there.
Yeah. We got a good crowd out there. There's Bearded CB. Oh, you already did that. Sorry, Alan.
Oh, no. He jumped in after I read the list.
The Trapper. Our reigning beard champion from the great state of Georgia.
Yeah, that one, man, I'm telling you, that one will forever be a hard to beat. Forever be I think that man's going to carry that trophy all the way to the end.
Yeah, I can't.
I think we probably need to get him a trophy.
Yeah, I ain't seen one better.
He wears that trophy daily.
All right, this is my thing. I'm going to have to cut some of my beard off, or I'm going to have to sell my motorcycle because it's getting dangerous. I'm going down the road riding my motorcycle, and my hair is blocking my vision. And it's like, I'm going to wreck this thing.
Why don't you do like the old boys down around here? They get rubber bands and they band it.
That's all
Go
well
for the
and
whole
good.
Captain Lou Albano look.
It's all great till you have to take those rubber bands out of your beard, man.
Snip, snip.
Yeah, I guess.
You wear something that's high enough. Just tuck it in, man.
I hadn't thought about that.
Well, but then you go to look right and left, and
Yeah, Gene says braid that thing. So, Gene, how did that red dot go or the green dot go? He was telling me he was, hair ties. I got to do something. I've seen these real nice leather things that they put around them. If I knew what they were called, I could get on. Can't help you with that one, Trapper.
wait a minute, I think Alan there, he knows somebody who works at some kind of fast food service station he could fix Trapper up with. Might actually have more hair than he does.
Well, yeah, but she's only got about a tooth and a half in her head, and she's got about almost the same amount of hair on the side of her face. And
Ooh.
just one side, though. Make her look left.
Yeah, I guess. The mountain man said he had to shave tight for a respirator fit test. That's never fun. Trapper's like, thanks, but no thanks.
All right, Jamie, you came across an interesting list. You want to talk about that?
Yes. I got an email from Bud's Gun Shop. Y'all don't repeat that. Wouldn't want everybody to know that. And then I just tell the whole dang internet. Top 10 handgun cartridges from soda can punchers to bear stoppers. This list runs down the best handgun cartridges currently on the market by Brad Fitzpatrick, May 18th, 2023. And in order, I'm not going to read the whole article. Number 1 would be 22 long rifle. Number 2, 380 ACP, 9mm Luger 38 Special, 357 Magnum, 40 Smith & Wesson, 10mm Auto, 45 ACP, 44 Remington Magnum, 454 Casull, and 50 Smith & Wesson Magnum. Agree, disagree? Did they leave something out?
Well, we were briefly mentioning this in the pre-chat, but my first objection to it is the number one that you read off, 22. It's in the name, long rifle.
Exactly. Yeah, you have rifle in the name of the cartridge, but it's the number one handgun cartridge. No, 40 is one of my favorite CB. I wouldn't do that.
I personally don't have a 22 long rifle pistol. The only reason I would have one is to be running a trap line with it.
I do. I've got a SIG. What is it? A P322. It's for me. I picked it up as a training pistol for people that have never really shot handguns before. And it's all same fit function, but you don't have something that's really all that scary. And it's the same size, almost same size platform as a P365 XL. They're almost the same size, so it translates well to a pistol that I carry. But I don't really feel that I would be carrying or would endorse people carrying a 22 long rifle pistol. But this isn't carry ammo. This is just popular pistol ammo. So, I mean, really, the only problem I have with it is that its long rifle is in the name. And then one of the going towards the end of the list. Yeah, okay, 38 special. Yes, 357 Magnum, 9mm. Yes, 10mm, 45 ACP. I agree with all that. 454 Casull. I mean, yes, it is a popular round, but in between that and 50, are they, or 500 Smith and Wesson? That's like that's more hand cannon range.
Well, my thing with those would be most of the rifles or the pistols are super expensive. So there's not a whole lot of people that can afford to buy those. They're great rounds. The 454 is an awesome round. Very flat shooting round, but it's up there.
I agree with Kingpin. Where is 454 popular? Probably in Alaska and some of the northern states for bear protection. But I can't honestly say that in the state of Georgia or Tennessee, I can't say that I've seen 454 ammo on the shelf for sale. I just can't say that. And I don't know anybody that carries 454 Casull or a 500 Smith & Wesson Magnum. I think those cartridges are pretty much would be better suited in a lever action. So CW got a 454 Casull Rossi. I think it was either Friday or yesterday, and he's already fixing it up really nice. So I'm hoping one day that he gets to come shoot with us, and I get to shoot that thing. But from what I can see and from what I've seen on his videos, 454 Casull is basically 45 long Colt Magnum. Kind of like 357 is to 38, 44 Magnum is to 44 Special. It's just a little bit longer case and still, man, the the brass. I mean, you'd have to order some uh, from Starline, I reckon. Garage guy says he's not seen 454 in his part of Virginia either. And 5.7, I have no idea how expensive that stuff is. That cartridges just never interest me much.
They run about $28 a box right now.
I do see 5.7 on my shelf. I don't really see 454 Casull in my area. I do see 500 Smith & Wesson though. But does it amaze anybody that 357 SIG is not on this list?
No, that doesn't surprise me. I wonder what the criteria is and how they've it looks like they went from lowest power to highest power from what it looks like to me. And I know there's people who would argue that 9mm has more power than 38 special. I don't see that, but okay. I know 357 Magnum has, maybe it's caliber, maybe it's going by caliber. Those 40 Smith & Wesson and 10mm are right beside each other, with 10mm being right behind. No, well, there you got 45 ACPs coming before 44 Remington Mag. I don't know. I don't know if this is by sales. I don't know what the criteria is for their list.
Well, and that's my assumption with this list. So the list that we're talking about, West Covina, is Jamie came across this list of the top 10 handgun cartridges. And so I'm suspecting that that they base this off of the top 10 sold, the most popular sold rounds, calibers, I should say. That would make sense. Of course, it's not going to amaze me again. 9mm, 38 special, 357 mag, 45, even 44.
.41 Magnum is one I'd like to get my hands on for a while, and 454 Casull is also piquing my interest. But I've resisted 45 Colt for so long, so that's what happens. You know, you you get a new gun, you get a new caliber, and the next thing you know, you're doing this whole collection of things. If you have a revolver, you got to have a lever gun. Then you got to have the one that's right up front. I mean, 38 special ain't enough. You got to have a 357 Magnum. Then you got to have a lever gun, and it goes on and on. And when do you guys that get a new gun? When do you stop talking about it? Like Daniel went on and on about his Shadow 2 Compact, and it's like he's going to keep talking about that gun until he gets the next one. I know that's how we are. That's gun guys.
Well, I keep talking about it. I only answer questions about it. I took it personally, man.
Oh, don't act like that hurt your feeling.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, Lakeview had a question about it earlier, and I've kept my mouth shut about it for this long, Jamie. I am containing myself very well.
So, Daniel, what color grips did you put on it?
Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only Kingpin.
Good evening, everybody. How is it been?
That's it, Kingpin? Come on.
Thanks for having me. Good to see everybody tonight.
I mean, Kingpin will probably know. Kingpin, question for you. What kind of feed do you give a gay horse?
I'll check with Cenk Uger. I'm not really too sure about that.
That would be, hey.
Or I could check with Mario.
Everybody came up with Mario right off the bat on that. Why? I don't know.
Yeah, see, Ozzy, that's what I'm afraid of. 45 Colt. I just recently stepped up into 44, so give me another year before I have to do the 45 Colt thing.
So out of all those calibers, if you could only have one and the balloon went up in society, okay, society's already gone to crap. So America just crashed and whatever. You're going to carry one pistol around. What caliber?
I mean, I hate to admit it. I absolutely do. Because most people would expect to hear 10 millimeter come from my lips, but I can't. If there's only one caliber, it's going to be 9 millimeter because it's going to be the most plentiful everywhere.
Yeah. Scotsman.
For me, man, it'd have to be 44. It's always been on the top of the list and still there. 45 Colt's a close following partner, but if I only can have one, I'm carrying my 29.
Jamie.
Right now, I'm going to say 357 Magnum. I have two pretty nice revolvers and a lever action, so
You're going cowboy action on them. Cool.
well, you got to have. If I'm given my choice what to carry, that's what I'm going to carry. But 357 has plenty of stopping power, and I don't think a man needs 15 shots of 357 Magnum to get the job done. I just don't.
And you reload and cast.
Right.
So supply is not an issue unless you're far away from home base.
Right, but if in that case, then I've got 9 millimeters and I've got ARs, 223s, whatever you want to call them. But yeah, 357 and 38. I got plenty of that stuff around. That's probably what I have the most of, and that's probably why I say that.
Yeah, so right there, your reasoning is totally sound because I know you're a reloader and you're a caster, so you're going to have plenty. Kingpin.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with 40 Smith & Wesson. Kind of like the same reason Jamie and Al, a mixture of Jamie and Allen's together. I've got the most 40 to start with, so clearly I'm going to start with what I have the most of. And while all the peasants are chasing down 9 millimeter because they think 9 millimeters everywhere, there's just as much 40 everywhere too that everybody's walking right by looking to get the 9 millimeter. So I'll just casually grab all the 40 as I go. Now the problem with that is there's a bunch of other smart people out there that like 40 better than 9 millimeter. So there's going to be some competition, but not nearly the doorbuster competition on Christmas morning like Walmart for 9 millimeter.
I want to carry a 22 long rifle with a suppressor because I only got to win my first gunfight, and then I'm either going to have another 9 millimeter, a 40, or a 357. Just got to win that first one.
All right, let's address this comment. New York Outcast, you are used to getting shafted, so I wouldn't be complaining.
How do you get
Shot
shafted this
fired.
time? Now, me, I mean 9 because like that's what I've got a ton of it and I've been shooting the heck out of it. I have some other pistols of different calibers, but I just like Jamie said. I mean, I cast 9. I've got a stockpile of bullets to make cartridges out of, and the powder and the primers. So it's what I've got, but I also think it's going to be the easiest to pick up out there.
Yeah, see, I don't know about that because everybody thinks the same thing. So if you've got a million people running after the same dime, not all 1,000,000 people are going to get that dime. But if you got 2 or 3 people going after that dime, then it's a lot better chance that you might grab it. But if everybody's looking for 5.56 and everybody's looking for 9mm, that's a lot of competition.
How many bullets you shoot last week there, Kingpin?
How many bullets did I shoot last week?
Out of
0.
your pistol.
0.
The week before that.
0.
Okay, Jamie? Your average week, let's just say.
On an average week, 0. I don't go shooting as much as I want. This past week, however, I shot about 50 rounds of rifle ammunition, and the week before that, I shot about 100 rounds of 9mm. So there's that. And don't tell anybody I shot 9mm, please. Oh, I did shoot about 50 rounds of 357 Magnum too, so that makes it more better. Just more gooder.
Alan?
It depends upon the weekend you catch me. It could be anywhere from 300 to 400 on one weekend, or it can average out to 100 a week per month. It just depends upon the week that you catch me, because yes, I don't shoot as much as I would like to as well. And that number is slightly decreased over the past couple of months, for just because freedom of range purposes.
Yeah. And poor Scotsman, who's on the injured reserve list.
Yeah.
But when you are out there on your, not when you are not on the injured reserved, about what would you shoot during a week or a couple, weeks average?
Depends. If I'm coming your way, usually, obviously, we'll do 300-400, maybe even 500 rounds. I just got the home range done here not too long ago, so be a couple hundred probably average.
Yeah.
All depends. I gotta get down there and pick up some more primers before I burn through what I got. And no, Fuzzy, I'm not worried about a shortage. So don't start it on me before you get there. I really don't care. I'm not worried about it. I got plenty of ammo, plenty of stuff. And it's like I picked up another mold last week there. This thing showed up the other day. So another 44 mold. This is a round nose bullet. So this one should hypothetically function better in the Marlin. So I'm still going to take it apart and polish it and all the rest of it. But that should run better in the Marlin.
My contention is that in the current environment, I don't think none of us are shooting as much as we want. I think we're all holding back a little bit because the way things are, except Abigail.
I'm buying stuff as I shoot it and not touching my stock. But I'm retired, and I built a pistol range right in my backyard, and then expanded it. So I'm on the other side where I will shoot 300 to 700 rounds in a week, just because I don't drink, I don't have a TV hooked up. I reload. It's my thing I do to keep me on a level plane.
Yeah, but you see, I still have to work a job, and I can't wait to get retired. So all I do is cast, reload, unload, and repeat. Wash and repeat.
Wash, rinse,
Don't forget
repeat.
the honey-do list. Don't forget the honey-do list.
You did have to bring that up, didn't you?
The honey-do list takes 20 minutes before the wife gets home. Okay, how hard is it to burn the trash,
Oh,
Don't,
man.
rinse
don't
dishes?
announce it. What the heck,
Hey,
man?
man, damn it. Let me tell you something, Daniel. You met my wife, and I cannot let her know I got a day off, because she will pack it full from 9 a.m. till she gets home. I'm not kidding.
She doesn't even schedule him a damn lunch.
I know it. Work through lunch.
I just give my wife all my money, and she just gives me an allowance back out of it. And I just wash my clothes and dishes, and throw the trash out before she gets home. She's happy, and I get her
You're
cheesecake.
trained, and you
You
just
get her
don't know it.
cheesecake.
That woman has you trained, and you think you're fine.
Yeah, she's got her own gun safe. She hunts. We're like this. I mean, here. I clean, I prime, I reload a bunch of brass. When she wants to shoot it, she shoots it. If she don't get out there, I shoot it before her. Survival of the fittest, brother.
I'm telling you, man, that little woman, I love her. Don't get me wrong, but man, golly, she can be a slave driver sometimes.
Oh,
Straight up cutthroat.
she's okay. She's wanting to get a 45 for a carry gun, for a winter carry gun next. What's probably the best option that I should tell her to get? I got to keep her away from Kimber because she's looking at it.
I wouldn't
Have
get
you
it.
have you suggested a Glock?
No, she knows better.
She shot many CZs. She knows a lot better.
Yeah. Rock
You
Island.
poor guys. You have any idea what the origin of the word husband comes from? The origin comes from the word husbandry. You look up husbandry in the dictionary, and it literally means farm equipment.
And there you have it, sports fans.
Hey,
Would
like
you
my
say?
wife,
Would you say that Shadow 2 Compact is about the size of the SPO1, Daniel?
the barrel is a half an inch longer. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But everything else would be comparable on size. It's got more of a curved trigger. I'm getting used to it. I mean, I really got to grip and dig my trigger finger in there to keep from pulling it low left, because now it's like, as I'm used to the SPO1, the flatter trigger, and now I got this curved one, so I've really got to dig my finger in there.
Yeah, but that particular pistol fits in your same SPO1 holsters.
Yes.
Yeah, see, my SPO1 has got the curved trigger on it already, so.
Yeah, but the Shadow 2 Compact is fitting. It's not an exact fit, so it's a little tighter pulling out.
I used to have a Ruger P90 or a P85 and 45 ACP. I wish I still had that gun. That's one of those, you price it so ridiculously that you think nobody's going to buy it, and then they whip their wallet out and start counting out cash. I'm like, I was just kidding. He said, no, you priced it. And I'm like, well, I didn't think anybody'd pay that much for it.
So I did get something in the mail, and there will be a video. I just haven't got there yet. But I'll give you guys a sneak peek. So these are for the 97B.
What
And
do you,
these, you can't tell on camera probably, but these are purple heartwood. And Mark was nice enough to send me not only one set, but two sets because he understands how the wood works and operates. So I have two sets for the 97B. So we'll get those going here. Next couple of days, I'll get a video going out. But if you're out there, Mark, I appreciate you very much.
you guys are quiet.
Well, when you're reading comments, it's kind of hard to talk at the same time, I guess. Can't chew gum and walk at the same time, I suppose.
That would be
Okay. Well, you found a list of the 10 most popular handgun cartridges. What would we say would be possibly be the top 5 handgun cartridges that are irrelevant?
I'm going to throw 40 on the top of the list.
I really like 40. I'm sorry, I do. I like 40 a lot. I'd rather carry 40 than 9. And people say, well, 9mm is so much better now than it used to be because of all the technological advances in bullets and powders. Well, guess what? Those same advances are available in 40 Smith & Wesson as well. So
There's a lot of, I mean, you got 32 ACP, 25 ACP, you got all those old cowboy revolver rounds. That's a pretty extensive list.
yeah, Bama Dad saying 380 and 25. 40-44 and 38-44, those are no 44-40, 38-40. Those should be making a comeback. Those are great rounds.
Ozzy was the first one to come up with the one that I was going to put on the top of the list. 30 Super Carry.
That one just kind of sat there and done nothing, hadn't it? Do y'all know anybody that's got a 30 Super Carry?
Nobody that didn't get it for testing from a company for free.
Nobody that likes it. I've seen a few videos and they all hate it. They don't see it's pointless round. CB says 41 Magnum. CB 41 Magnum is an awesome cartridge. It is not irrelevant. Trust me, man. That thing shoots ridiculously well.
I would say it's probably one of the more accurate cartridges out there, just inherently, and I don't know why. But
yeah, excluding like some of the what I would almost call antiquated, more just irrelevant. The second one on the list for me would probably be 357 SIG.
But that one's kind of hard to understand why as well. There's this thing called a 40 Corbin, 40 something, and what it basically is it's a 45 ACP neck down to 40 caliber, and it's chambered in some 1911 designs. one of the guys, I think it was Lead Bullet Junkie or maybe Lakeview, uh, one of those guys were doing that, and they loved it. But I've never, if I didn't know them, I would know nothing about it. Yeah,
Yeah,
41.
the 357 SIG. What was really the purpose in developing that round? Does anybody even know?
Wasn't it probably just to sell Sig's new gun they came up with?
Yeah, I mean, that sounds kind of funny, but you could kind of walk out that whole conspiracy theory there because right after they started doing the 357 SIG started coming out with those modular P320s. So, Frankenstein basically locked your SIG, and the 357 SIG kind of opened the door for that.
So it came out in 94 and it was for police departments. I had to look up the date. I knew it was for police departments, but I couldn't remember the date. So 94 is when it came out.
Yeah, with what theology is to improve as Razor just put it out there, an attempt to improve terminal velocity. That's where I was going with that, but not saying it nearly as articulately.
Don't they go after? They want it to go at least penetrate 8 inches of the gel. I mean, as far as that's the penetration that they're looking for. Because on most people, I mean, you're pushing 8 inches. You're going to be pushing the spine if you don't go, even if you don't go through.
It's a good thing I knew what we were talking about when you said that whole phrase there. That's
Terminal velocity, penetration. What this gun channel? This is not the other channel or the other place that you're on.
You
This
all
is the
know
gun
that New York Outcast head popped up and twisted a little bit when you said that.
Jamie, what are you going to do about these guys?
I'm going to start talking about guns. There's a lot of stuff out there. These new takes on these new calibers that are coming out. Like 30 Super Carry. One of my favorites that I am interested in is the 6.8 Western, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But most of these things are an attempt to fit in a certain platform or to do to improve on to fit a niche that's out there. For example, 350 Legend was basically an attempt to get a cartridge that the straight wall states would allow you to hunt with, and let me tell you, I killed 2 deer with it last year. 350 Legend works if you're in a straight wall cartridge state and you like that. You will like 350 Legend, 400 Legend. I've heard some people claim that the 360 buck hammer is just too heavy. 360 buck hammer basically is a 30-30 necked up to 357. The 350 Legend turned out to be almost the same thing as 357 Maximum. It's just a little bit longer than that. But the thing I like about the 6.8 Western, y'all know I'm a big fan of the 270 Winchester. Well, the 6.8 Western is the same thing. It's a little bit of a shorter cartridge with a little bit less powder, but the rifles are chambered in a higher spin rate, rifling rate, twist rate. I think they're like 1-7, 1-8, whereas your standard 270 Winchesters are more of a 1-10 twist. So you're kind of limited with the bullet weight that you can shoot. And I think a 6.8 would be a really good long range target round with a 1-7, 1-8 twist. You could shoot a higher ballistic coefficient bullet out to some incredible distances. Did that make any sense at all?
What barrel length are you talking? Are you looking like if you were going to build the gun around what you're talking about right there? What kind of barrel length would you have?
I would want at least 22 inches, preferably 24.
All right, now in the same case, where do you put? Do you put a muzzle brake on there, or do you have it just regular standard end of the barrel, end of the gun?
I have really good hearing protection, Kingpin. I don't see any need for muzzle brakes I mean, I shoot 270 and 12 gauge all day long, and it don't hurt me that bad. I just, you know, if it came with one, yeah, they're nice. I mean, I'm not sit here and say they're not. They're nice. I just don't. I don't. I don't see the need personally. I mean, I'm fine with an 11-degree target crown, but if you want to put a muzzle device on the end of it, that's good too. I really wish that some people would get their head out of their rear end and understand that uh, uh, suppressor devices on hunting rifles make the whole world a lot more peaceful. And that's all I'm going to say about that. But your choice, man. You can get them threaded if you want to. Personally, I don't need it, but I understand.
I mean, they even make suppressors for the 4570. But I mean, having to go out and pay a tax stamp to protect your hearing or be considerate of the neighbors when you're going out and shooting it and sighting it in. I agree with you about people need to get their heads out of their butt there, Jamie.
And while we're on the subject, West Covina brings up something. Uh, it's not just a straight wall requirement, uh, West Covina. It's got to be under a certain length, and 458 Winchester would be a great round, except for I'm sure it's going to be too long for their. And I wish I knew what it was, but there is a length uh, that can't be over a certain length cartridge. And I wish I knew what that was, but it's probably different in every single state.
There's a good question for you, Jamie.
Why do I have to answer that? That's beyond the scope of my pay grade. Um, the point is that if you get any kind of a when that projectile is exiting the muzzle of the barrel of the bore, any kind of a deflection is hurting accuracy. If it's just getting a little scratch in the projectile, it's going to throw off that how that is cutting through. 11-degree crown, it it's coming in 11 degrees like that, so that even if something happens to the end of the barrel, it's not happening to your muzzle. Bearded CB says it helps with combustion.
The combination with combustion and the bullet leaving the chamber. I'm reading about these people talking about eating elk and moose. Now, daggone it. I know elk is good. I've heard moose is better.
I haven't had moose. I have had elk, and that's some of the best meat I've ever had, but I haven't had moose yet.
I think I've told y'all this before, but I was watching a cowboy movie one time. They let these three guys out of prison, out in the middle of the desert. I mean, you can't see another building forever. And they let them off. So, okay, you're free to go. And they said, well, where are our horses? And they said, what do you think you've been eating the last 6 months?
There you go.
Well,
I'm
Pat,
sorry, like you, I haven't talked about my Shadow 2 compact, but these guys, picked on me for it. So I'm going to have to make another video.
Go ahead, Daniel. Talk about it.
No, I'll save it for the video. I got over 500 rounds through it, and I'm working on, like you guys were talking before, there's a thing with, using both hands, but I'm also working on strong hand and shooting at support hand. So I can shoot it one of three ways, whichever way is required, and working on my accuracy. And I'm just out there having a blast with it and reloading. Keeping my practice ammo reloaded is wash, rinse, repeat. Having a good time. The only thing I'm looking for now is get that base plate so I can I'm looking at doing a green dot on it because my eyes, the green is not blurred where the red is always got, like I said, bursting kind of starburst stuff. My eyes pick up on the green faster. So once that, I'll think I might get my splits down faster and my target acquisition when I'm changing. But I'm going to be shooting at a competition this upcoming Saturday, and I'm going to be using that gun just to get more in tune with the gun. I'm not looking at great times. I'm just going to go through and go for accuracy and move through it. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
You said you already changed the front sight?
Well, there's a fiber optic on there. I took the red fiber optic out, and I put a green one in there because it's brighter for me. I'm colorblind to pastels, so I cannot be an interior decorator. Okay, so I'm just tuning the gun in for me. Go ahead, Scott.
That's why you're a seamstress.
Hey, I was a parachute rigger for 20 years in the Navy, and yes, I had a sewing machine, and that made me a lot of money and got me a lot of extra time off work. Got it. Don't hate the game. Don't hate the player. Hate the game. So, what? No more comments about me having a sewing machine at work? I was a survival equipmentman. My job was keeping people alive and working with survival equipment in the Navy.
I do the same thing you do, man. I take them out and I put green in. Green is easier to pick up. Most CZs come with red already in them.
Okay. Hey, Razor, it's yellow. What I got it in now is yellow.
CB's got a comment out there for you, Daniel.
CB. And sewing flash gear. Holders for belts.
No, the one before that.
Well, I think that should be holders for belts. Making tool belts. Oh, yeah. Well, how the hell did he make it aviation? How did I make it in aviation being colorblind to pastels? there was 2 jobs I was eligible to do. One would be a mess cook, and the other one was a parachute rigger. And after I was in the Navy 10 years, they made a requirement for being parachute riggers to have normal color vision because we started working with night vision and stuff like that. Also, I made it in under the wire. And a walking foot hand stitcher. See Kyle out there. He's got a Singer. Is it a 206 Singer? You can make a lot of cool stuff with that, especially for hunting. Oh, and Razor, yeah, he had a good Army recruiter. Told him where to get a special contact so he can see the colors to pass the test in MEPS. Okay, let's get off stitching. Let's get back to guns. Deer season's coming up. So, Jamie, I take it you do have that 350 Legend ready to kill some deer?
Actually, I made a decision. I did not take it to the range to check zero on the scope. I'm pretty confident that nothing's happened to it. If I need it, I'll get it. But I'm shooting 150 grain bullets this season. I'm shooting 270 Winchester PowerPoints, 150 grain, and then 35 Remington. I'm shooting Remington Core-Lock 150 grain bullets.
No, because you can use 270 down there where you're at.
I'm using 270 and 35 Remington. But the 350 Legend is a deer killing machine. I am interested in that 400. I wonder what that's all about. I'm wondering if it's still an AR-15 platform or if it's an AR-10 platform.
I tell you, those big cartridges in an AR platform, they're hard on the shoulder. I mean, they come straight back.
They're hard on everything, man. They've got to be. It just don't feel natural. Don't seem natural.
That AR-15 platform had the 450 Bushmaster upper, the one I gave to Mock. Hey, it was accurate, but there's a very good reason. I didn't even ask for any money for it. I just put it in a box and sent it on up to him before he paid money for one. But I guess he loves it, but I guess he's into pain. Shooting that thing, my shoulder was killing me for 6 months, where it was hitting right here on the bone.
Hey, Mock.
Just talking about you.
Yeah, we was just talking about it. He's on his way to work. Don't work too hard, brother.
Yeah. He's killed some. I mean, I killed that buck right there with it. That one, boom. Yeah, right there. And a doe before it. I mean, that was 100. Both of them were at 180 yards. So, I mean, it'll get the job done. It just hurts.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, recoil's not a thing for me.
What about you, Kingpin? What kind of heavy hitters have you shot and do you like?
Man, I like the 338 Lapua round. That's one of my favorites. I know it's not necessarily exactly the same thing that you guys are talking about, but that's one of the bigger rounds that I like to shoot. And
that's a good one.
the AR, out of the AR, I never shot anything at like any other type of rifle, just the AR platform, and it didn't seem to have overwhelming recoil or nothing like that. I just like the blast of gas that you get in your face every time you pull the trigger.
Yeah, 338 is a good round. I like that. It was a good round.
And where would you set this bar on what would you consider to be a heavy hitting round? Is this at the target or on your shoulder?
We're talking on the shoulder. And generally, if it's hitting you pretty hard on the shoulder, it's probably hitting pretty hard downrange too.
Yeah. But it all depends on how much does the gun weigh itself, and the comb on your stock. How is it coming down to fit your body, so your body can absorb the shock? And the AR is coming straight back on you, and they're light. They're light guns.
A couple of weeks ago, Jason Stewart was catching a lot of flack for talking bad about the Mini 14, but he did make some pretty good points about it. I've got a Mini 14, and even shooting 223 through it it sucks because there just the slightest bit of movement in that gun, and it digs right into your shoulder. I mean, it's a fun gun to shoot, to play around with, but you're not going to want to sit there and plug out 1,000 rounds in a day with a Mini 14. Not the one that I've got, and I've got one of the older ones. So even 223, depending on what gun you got, can be pretty uncomfortable. Or in a regular AR platform, you can fall asleep shooting 223.
I mean, you're probably too young, but every time you load that Mini 14 and go to shoot it, do you sing the theme to A-Team? Dun, 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 dun.
You know what goes through my mind? I pity the fool.
You don't have the high polished chrome Mini 14, right?
No, I got the wood stock with the what is it, the stainless barrel.
I traded mine for a 357 lever action. I did.
You want to see a hard hitting one? Go watch Lever Action 50's latest video. That thing, I forget what the caliber was, but it's huge. That's a beast. You can literally see the rifle, and he's getting pushed back pretty good, but you literally see the rifle probably raise a foot or so. That thing's got some major kick to it.
Well, as well as African guns.
Let me look it up.
Okay. But I was down there at the gun shop in that little town south of me, and he had got in from this one custom revolver builder. That thing was geared and shooting for that bullet right there, the 45-70 in a revolver.
So it was the 70 Winchester Express.
So that would be yes. That's one of those African things.
Yeah. And there's Miss Hotshot. I'll be shooting with her and Gene if they show up.
What about like 7mm Win Mag?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Like a 7mm Win Mag.
I'm working on a 300 Win Mag. That's going to be fun. That's going to go to dead zero. I hope I have it ready by the time we get to go again. And I have no doubt that gun will shoot a mile.
That's 7mm and a 300 Win Mag. Those both are some brutal rifles.
Yeah.
I shot a groundhog at 10 feet away with a 300 Win Mag with a hollow point. There was toes where I shot him, a big purple spot, and about 10, 15 feet away, there was a nose. And that was it, just a grease spot in the middle.
Yeah, 300's going to be fun. 7mm. Ozark Spirit has one of those, I'm pretty sure. So basically, you're looking at a 308 projectile versus a 284. What is a 7mm? 280 something. I want to say 284, but that might not be exactly right. Those are basically long range hunting guns. Like you can shoot a ram off of one mountaintop over to another mountaintop. Then you got to walk all the way down the valley, then back up the mountain, and then drag it back to camp. So hopefully it slides a good ways down the mountain. You know what I mean?
I think that's the idea. They slide down, you meet it in the middle between the two mountains.
Well, it tenderizes the meat on the way down.
Yeah, tie a little rope to the end of the projectile. So when it hits the ram on the other side of the mountain, you just tie off the rope and walk across and get it.
All right, so that brings up an interesting topic. What are some guns that you have that you don't shoot a whole lot because of various reasons? Maybe they're not fun to shoot, like Kingpin was saying with his Mini 14, it's not that fun to shoot.
I'll go first, and I'm ashamed of this. I have a Ruger 77 and 30-06 that I probably haven't shot in 4 years. And the only reason is because I have so many other nice hunting rifles. And all the rest of them shoot 1 inch or smaller. That one just don't. I cannot come up with a hand load that'll shoot under 1 MOA with that particular rifle. And come to find out that there was some trouble with Ruger barrels back when that gun was made in 1988. So I'm thinking about boxing it up, sending it to Ruger, and have it re-barreled. And I'm wondering, do I want to go 30-06 or do I want to go with something else? So maybe 300 Win Mag. Who knows? 338 Lapua Magnum. How about some of that?
That's a heck of a round right there.
Trying to keep up with Kingpin.
I'm racking my brain. I can't really think of anything that's in the safe that I haven't shot in an extended period of time.
I've got ones in the safes that I have never shot, and I just keep them clean because they were handed down to me, and I look at it, I'm just the custodian of them until I pass them on. I mean, I've got some handmade, custom-made stuff, and the other stuff is just old, from old rolling block rifles to black powder stuff from the early 1800s.
Yeah, I love that old stuff, man. They just don't make stuff like they used to. I know that's an old man thing to say, but I'm an old man, so.
I only have the one that I really don't shoot and haven't shot in probably a year, maybe longer. That's the HK G3 clone. And the only reason I don't shoot it, because that's not fun to shoot, because it is fun to shoot, is it eats brass. And you cannot reload that brass. That brass is chewed up to hell. So it's not, it's a fun one to shoot, but it eats brass. So
Gene suggested I get it barreled in 300 PRC. Wonder how that relates to 300 Win Mag. Who's next? I thought we were all doing this. Daniel, you next?
I already said I got stuff I've never shot because I'm just the custodian of it. Got some old rolling blocks, old muzzleloaders, uh, custom rifles, the 300 Win Mag. It's just got the most beautiful wood on it you've ever seen. And I just keep them lubed up, cleaned, and greased to make sure nothing bad happens to them.
What about Kingpin? You got any others other than the Mini 14?
If I was going to be picky, just to kind of play along, I could say I did one of the, I don't know, I guess they're P80s or whatever, where you build your own pistol. And the trigger's like crappy plastic trigger. So when you pull the trigger, it gets that crappy plastic trigger feel, which is always a little uncomfortable. And then I've got an SR40 that you can only shoot it during the summer because if it's super, super freezing cold and you shoot it, it's really uncomfortable to shoot. Like it stings your hand quite a bit. And then if I was going to be picky again, I've got a PT100, a Taurus PT100. That's a little too big for my hands. I could probably put smaller grips on it, but I'm not going to. It's just something I take to the range every once in a while and, put a magazine through. It's fun to shoot, but you really gotta, well, at least I really gotta get a hold of it because it's just too big for my hand. And the sights are really, really small, so they're a little bit hard to pick up. But other than that, no. All the guns that I've got, I enjoy. Even the Mini 14. I like to shoot, but I'm only going to put 1 or 2 10-round mags to it until it gets aggravating.
Very cool, James. James Pollard's wife killed a deer this evening, so good on them.
Jamie, I'm going to work really hard to get my wife to get a really nice buck this year. I don't care if I don't even get one, if she gets a shot at one.
Well, I want my brother over there to kill a deer, so hook him up. And
I try.
Papa's
I put him in
place.
primo spots.
Papa's place has a question. Is anyone using Gordon's reloading tool in lieu of quick loads? I use quick loads. I've seen Gordon's, but I've never played with it. And I heard that the guy that developed it passed away, and there's not anybody keeping up with the updates or anything. So I don't know that. That's just what I heard.
Now, I hope Scotsman gets healed up so he can get out there and shoot.
Yeah, he needs some meat in the freezer.
He don't cook. If it's not in a can, he ain't eating it. Or, I don't think he cooks.
He will. He kills a deer, he'll cook.
You can eat that deer meat raw, can't you?
You want to warm it up in butter first.
Yeah, you want the blood warm, or like eat the heart right when you field dress it, still warm.
While it's beating. Nothing like a beating heart, right? I should gnaw on that thing. If Scotsman gets one, I'm going to make him eat the heart, and I'm going to get it on video. I mean, that's why I really want him to shoot a deer.
I ain't got no problem doing that. Oregon meat's some of the best meat. I got no problem doing that. I know a lot of people don't like liver and stuff like that, but liver's really good.
I ain't doing organ meat.
All right, Kingpin, you brought up an interesting point in that question that we had. Out of firearms that you guys have put together and or modified in some shape or form, and are there any of those that you do not shoot? And if not, why not? Go ahead, Bo. Start with you.
What was the question? I was reading the comments.
Kingpin brought up an interesting topic. So anything that you've put together and or modified, do you not shoot, and why do you not shoot it?
The only one that I haven't shot was that I haven't shot in years is I built the rifle. I built it. It's a 45 Hawken, and that's what I got my second buck with, and I shot it all through high school. And the reason why I haven't shot it is because now I have an inline muzzleloader, and I might take it out again because that's where I first originally started casting, was making maxi balls with it. And why haven't I been shooting it? Because black powder is such a pain in the butt to clean, as far as cleaning out the gun. But the thing is a tax driver. I've killed a lot of deer with it. But it's just place of honor right now, right up here in my bedroom. It was one of the first muzzleloaders probably to ever have a scope put on it. I had some Godfather and guys that were machinists, and they started playing around with that kind of stuff.
All right. Alan, I saw the wheels are turning. What you got?
I mean, really, that I can think of, there's only one that I built up that I don't shoot anymore. Haven't shot the thing for years and years. It was a Ruger SR9 to start life off with, and I put triggers and springs and customized the firing pin in it, and just did all kinds of little nuanced things, polished the inside of the frame so that the trigger bar could slide easier. Ultimately, the reason why I don't shoot it is because I don't own it anymore. I would love to have that gun to these still. I would love to absolutely have that pistol still, but I don't. So I don't shoot it.
And you don't have to say if you don't want to say, but why did you get rid of it?
Well, the county of Mojave decided they were going to keep it.
Okay, enough said. Jamie.
When I was 16 years old, I built a CVA Kentucky long rifle, and I don't shoot it anymore because it got stolen and sold for drug money. So obviously I can't shoot it anymore, but I have another one. If I can, let me see if I can get this to do right here. All right, bear with me for a second. This is my current project, and I'm not shooting it yet because it's not finished yet. Okay. You want to share that, Scotsman? Did it go away?
It went away.
Yeah. So when that's finished, they'll be shooting it. Still a lot of work left to go. It doesn't look like that anymore, guys. So there's that. But if y'all have seen some of Mr. Pollard's rebluing stuff, that's probably what I'm going to try to work on with that particular gun. It was left in a Tahoe for almost 2 years. So when I get it back in good shape, that's what I'll be carrying to dead zero. See if I can run that to 1,000 yards. I predict success. But that's 2 of mine.
All right, Kingpin, you brought up the P80. Anything else, or just the P80?
I've got a Remington 700 223 bolt action. Beautiful gun. Came with a scope on it. Generic Remington scope. I don't even know what brand it was. 200 yards. I could play Battleship because the range that I have has got Battleship as one of the targets. So we could play Battleship at 200 yards, no problem. For whatever reason, I was telling Dead Horse, and most of you guys know who Dead Horse is, and I love you, Dead Horse. I was telling him about the rifle, and then I told him about a scope I had on my Ruger AR-15. He convinced me to switch. He said, take the 2 scopes and put them on, switch them, take them off, take the AR and put it on the 223, and then put the bolt action on the AR. For whatever reason, I didn't question him. I just grabbed my guns and did it. And it was the biggest mistake I ever made in my life. Oh my gosh. It took me forever to get the Ruger back to being like zeroed in. And I still can't get the 223 to go out to 200 yards like it used to. So I took something that was perfectly not broken and broke it because one of my friends told me to.
Yeah, sometimes switching scopes around really doesn't work so well. For me, it would probably be a P80 build that I did. And the only reason I did it was so I could get the experience of building it. That's the only reason I did it. So really, it sits in the safe. It doesn't get shot a whole lot. Probably should shoot it more because I got a decent amount of money involved in it.
Well, I shot that thing, what was it now, 2 pushing 3 years ago now? So yeah, it functioned better than most Glocks.
It's a shooter. I mean, I'd have to customize and load for it, but it's a shooter. So, you know, I just never got there. Maybe I will. Yeah, it's probably been about 2 years, somewhere in there. Yeah.
So, Kingpin, what caliber was this Remington 700? I missed that part.
223.
Okay. That's what we kind of do, Christian. We just move on to other stuff. And we're hoarders. We don't sell guns or trade them. We just.
Yeah, we all got projects coming up the wazoo. That's for sure.
If I hate a gun, I'll sell it. If I'm scared of a gun, I'll sell it. If it hurts me, I'll give it away.
Not me. If mine does under the desk pop shots, I break it down and polish it and give it new grips.
Oh,
Nobody brought that up, brother.
yep. So that's
Funny,
hey,
though.
we can just bust on all over for you that now, huh? The wound is healed. There's just a scar in the bricks on the side of your wall.
So the whip machine sound mitigating muzzle device contraption thing cannot go on my Gray Ghost. The fact of the matter is functioning it without the flash can on the front of it would result in the muzzle being inside the handguard. I measured it out before I took everything apart, and if I didn't have the flash can on there, the end of the muzzle device is about a 32nd of an inch in front of the handguard. So all of the ports for the for the muzzle brake are inside the handguard. So I decided to not put it on the Gray Ghost.
Why don't you get an asbestos welding glove? Problem solved.
They don't sell them anymore.
You could just call it your own version of the bullpup, where all the muzzle flash and everything goes out the back.
So, what is your plan for that then?
In all actuality, it's probably going to go on the BM-15. The BM-15 currently resides with a standard bird cage. So it's likely going to go on to the BM-15. And in all actuality, does it mitigate sound all that well? It wasn't even worth making a video about. It helps a little bit, but it's not like significant. So it's an interesting muzzle device. But as for the claims of sound mitigation, kind of, sorta. I have a decibel reader. It goes up to 130 decibels, and with or without it, it was over the meter's capabilities.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering about that. I know, like I said last week, Pat RMG made a video on it before, and it didn't seem like there was a huge difference. But other than that, how was the muzzle brake? Muzzle brake okay?
Oh, the muzzle brake is phenomenal. It positively is spitting them gases out the sides. And so is it gonna live on that? No. Did it get put on that? Yeah. And it was run on that for just a couple of mags. Just being very, very conscious of and wearing gloves and everything else, being cautious with it. But with that, this thing is atrociously loud anyway. It's like obscene. And with that brake on there, I was glad that I was wearing double air pro, put it that way. It was just ridiculous without the flash can on it. With the flash can on it, it functioned almost like the standard flash can that's on it, just a smidge bit quieter, but I couldn't get a reading on it. I couldn't get actual data to be able to, it was just interpretation at that point. So it was kind of, honestly, it basically ruined a video for me because I was looking to get actual factual data and it just wasn't capable of doing that. The Gray Ghost is a 556 and it lives on a solid diet of Lake City 556 55 grain. Just solid diet of 55 grain from Lake City, and it's a 7.5 inch barrel, so it's snappy to the ears, to say the least. With the flash can that's on it now, I do have to say, with the flash can that's on it now, it will spit fire rings. With just the muzzle brake on there, it was like a miniature dragon. That might actually be worth doing on video, because it'd be just like flash bombs going off.
So are you going to try and get readings when you put it on the BM15 to see if that'll read?
Yeah. I'm thinking that it'll be significantly less than this. That plus I might try to work a little bit more with distance to my reader instead of having my reader 5 feet away from the muzzle, which was a measured 5 feet from my muzzle. I'm probably going to go out a little bit further with it, just depending upon. I'm going to have to try it. Ultimately, I'm going to have to try to see where it finally starts getting into that range and how far away that needs to be.
Yeah, I've never used one of those, so I couldn't tell you. Never messed with them. That'd be interesting to see, though.
Have y'all seen the? I think they're called Call Valley Machine Linear Comps. They're like a cup, and it sends the noise and stuff straight out, which kind of probably gonna make the recoil come straight back, but it diverts the sound away from the shooter toward the target. You want me to see if I can find one? Have y'all seen them?
That might be very similar to what I have on the Gray Ghost now. All that it is a threaded can it's just a straight can. And I believe that one is like a 3 inch long can. that has nothing inside of it. It's just a can, so it goes straight out. There's no porting on it or anything. So what recoil there is, I mean, it's 5.56. What recoil there is, it does force it straight back.
I've tried one of those linear comps before, and I tried it on the Beretta, and it did not like it. Did not like it one bit.
I was talking about for rifles.
Right. Yeah, I've never put it on the rifle. I only put it on the pistol to see. Yeah, it did not like it. Would not function whatsoever.
They come in different lengths, so you do know what I'm talking about. I think I'd like to have one on my 350 Legend. But you have to be careful on these AR barrels because the thread and size and pitch are not all the same. Like Bear Creek and is totally different from the one that I have, the Shaw. Kind of got a feeling that's not going to happen.
You ever tried shooting that with a Gray Ghost without the dot on it, Alan?
Yeah. It's got I do have open sights for it, flip up open sights, and have run it in that fashion without the dot.
What do you think of that?
It's functional. I mean, it's not meant for really stretching out and feeling someone. It's not really meant for that. But even open sight, I can probably get out to 200 without, and I'm old. My eyes are jacked.
See, I've got Jack, from the All About Jack, the 10.5-inch barrel, and using front sight, rear sight for me at 100 yards is basically impossible. I just didn't think there was enough distance between the front sight and the rear sight to actually make it effective. So I was kind of just like poking down range. Since then, this was like a year or two ago. Jason Stewart sent me a red dot to put on top of it. So that's the only dot that I've got is the one that goes on top of that, and it makes it a lot easier. But at 10.5, a front sight and a rear sight, in my opinion, are just too close for me to use anyway.
Yeah, there's not much real estate on the top of that. And so it's very, very finicky. It's very touchy. It's real easy to make minute issues. The one thing about this particular thing is it's got a phenomenal trigger in it. And so that totally helps. If it had like a mil spec trigger in it, I probably couldn't hit the broadside of a barn.
Abigail, I think this. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Alan.
Abigail and Wellington with pork loin. I mean, I did eat right before the show, but you're making me hungry here.
We did a beef Wellington about 2 Christmases ago, me and my son Jay. And he's been on the road working since then. So, but I think I'm going to try to do one with venison this coming Christmas. That was the most awesome Christmas dinner we've had in like forever. That beef Wellington, and we used one one of the TV cooks. I can't remember his name, but he's real popular. And man, it turned out so good. We used his recipe, and it was awesome. So,
Well, and beef Wellington is like one of the more difficult things to do.
right, it is to do right. And of course, when you got a guy that runs 8 restaurants telling you step by step how to do it, then even a dummy redneck can do it.
So we've gone to talking about Aldi's in the side chat and now cooking.
Yeah, but see, I brought it back around to hunting. Go ahead, Kingpin. I'm sorry.
I'm just to give a quick shout out to Midnight Range since we're talking about guns and food. That's all.
I want to go
Some
downstairs.
oddball reason. If for some oddball reason with gun people, you can always end up in a food chat somehow.
I just made some Tall House chocolate chip cookies, man. I'll be right back. I got to go get a couple. Because I'm hungry now.
It ain't gonna take the place of beef Wellington, Daniel. It just ain't. So there you have it, sports fans.
Well,
Yeah,
going from Aldo to food to I mean, we've got a very versatile side chat. You never know what some of these people are going to come up with.
yeah. Um, yeah, Friday nights it always gets turned over to food at some point. I mean, you just gotta let it play out, steer it back on course, and get back down the straight and narrow. You know how
I
it
mean,
goes.
you start talking hunting rifles, and then you start talking about what you killed, and then you got to talk about how you prepared it.
Yep. Good night, Christian. Good to see you out there, buddy. Oof. Do those got pecans in them?
See, Daniel done hunted himself some chocolate, and that's what he made with it. Is
You got some coffee with that? Folgers, I take it.
It's coffee.
brown label coffee. He's too.
No, this comes in a red thing.
So it's Folgers. Yeah.
So you always make fun of his Folgers. So what do you like coffee wise, Jamie?
Right now, I'm on a kick with the Aldi's German specialty coffee.
Foo-foo. Next thing you know, you're going to be wearing skinny jeans.
That'll be the day.
You see, I don't know about all that. I do drink kind of Gucci coffee, I would call it, but I drink blackout coffee. It's either 1776 blend or the FPC pack, or I do kind of subscribe to that bandwagon, and so yeah, I keep blackout coffee in the house.
See there, Ms. Hotshot agrees with me. That's great coffee. It'll make you throw rocks at Folgers. And y'all also got to understand, too, everybody in the world makes fun of Americans and how we drink coffee. They don't, they drink this high quality, I mean, really good coffee, really strong, and they have 1, maybe 2 cups a day, and they're good for the whole day. Whereas we'd make a basically a Maxwell House or a Folgers, put it in Mr. Coffee and drip the stuff, and it turns out like stump water, no flavor, just enough coloring to make you know it's not water anymore. And I said, well, you don't care about quality. You just care about having a bunch of it. And yeah, that's pretty much it, because you have to drink that stuff all day to keep yourself awake. But Bama Dad's right. Community coffee is some of the best coffee you can get made in America. It's made in Louisiana. Buy the beans, grind them fresh, use a French press. Do yourself a favor. Friends don't let friends drink crappy coffee. So, a French press.
See, I used to do the subscription stuff too, but then the price of coffee just went nutty, and I stopped doing that. So right now I've been getting I think it's 8 o'clock coffee, the Italian roast. That's not bad. I buy it by the beans as well and grind it.
That 8 o'clock coffee and the community coffee is some of the best coffee made in America.
Well, a good thing that all of you guys are friends with Rich White and Gizzard Gary, because if you put in Rich 20, you can get 20% off your purchase at the Blackout Coffee place. And both Rich and Gary get a little bit of sponsorship from that. So good thing that all of you guys can use Rich 20 for your Blackout Coffee stuff.
Oh, goodness gracious. U-Ban and Maxwell House. You might as well be drinking burnt transmission fluid with water. That stuff is just hideous to me.
Oh. You know, also you just caffeine and hot water. Okay.
Instant coffee. Ugh.
They make some awful good coffee in Peru. It's almost worth taking a flight down there just to buy the stuff. But you can get Peruvian whole bean coffee at Aldi's as well. It's not as cheap as the German specialty coffee, but yeah.
Well, yeah, but if you grind your own beans and use a French press, everything else, you can drink a shot glass of it and be like, that's like Christian crank right there. You'll be going half the day.
There's other benefits too, man. You can get your business done before you leave the house, if you understand what I'm talking about.
Lubes everything up.
Yeah. That would be important, because the last thing you want to do is have to be finding a restroom on the way to work, if you understand what I mean.
Do you know what's worse than that, Jamie? Have to take care of your business when you're hunting out there in the woods.
Yeah, that is a pain. You got to climb down out of your tree stand, and
then they sneak up behind you and grunt and scare the living crap out of you.
They do. There's nothing like a snort wheeze while you've got your britches down around your ankles.
And your gun's up in the stand still.
Oh, no. I saw some coffee at Walmart called Death Wish. Has anybody tried it or seen it?
It's horrible coffee. Don't waste your time.
Yeah, I figured it would be.
I had a bag once. I don't remember how long it's been. Probably a year or so ago. I had a bag of it. It was horrible. Tasted like dirt. Disgusting. It wasn't strong like it says it is, because it claims it's the world's strongest coffee. Not even close.
Yeah. Mr. Pollard, I
don't remember the name of this stuff, but yeah. I know some like little chimpanzee eats the coffee beans. They crap it out, and people make a beverage from that. Yeah.
I thought it was a cat.
No, it's a monkey.
Okay. That's probably worse.
Probably one of those things you ain't got to drink unless you're really drunk and your buddies like put you on a death wish dare.
Yeah. Fuzz, once you go from buying it already ground to grinding it fresh every morning, man, it's a game changer.
That all does seem quite a bit excessive. Uh, you're waking up groggy in the morning, and you've got enough energy and enough sense about you to get the coffee and get the grinder out and grind it up and listen to all that noise from grinding and dripping and do all this to make a cup of coffee. I don't know. That just seems real excessive to me.
See, that's why I compromise and get the German specialty coffee. It comes in a brick. It's vacuum packed, and it's I think it's 1.2 pounds for like $5.99, and it's already ground up, and it's really good coffee. So all I do is go in, take 2 scoops in a bump, put the water on to boil. When it boils, I pour it up, let it set 4 minutes, and drink it.
You're talking about right inside your cup is how you make yours?
No, I use a French press.
Yeah, if I wake up that early and I'm not wanting to hear the noise or anything, all I do is I put about this much water in the bottom of my coffee cup and fill the rest with bourbon. That way it kind of looks like I'm drinking coffee, but it's gonna, alleviate the previous evening.
Not me, Big Al.
All right, it's getting to that kind of time, so I think we'll start going to the room. Jamie, what you got, brother?
Hopefully, I'm gonna feel better this coming week, and I can get a couple of 308 videos out. Other than that, thanks for having me. Y'all are always fun on Sunday evenings. Uh, Friday nights, 8 o'clock, Georgia Shooting Connection. Come check us out. Thanks, guys.
Absolutely, man. Good to see you feeling a little bit better.
Thank you.
Kingpin, what you got, man?
Oh man, thanks for having me. Thank you everybody for hanging out, and have a good week.
All right, Daniel, what you got?
Hey, thanks for having me on your skinny jeans foo coffee chat. Really enjoyed it. But I'm gonna, really thanks for having me on. I'm gonna be finishing up. I just got 500 rounds through my Shadow 2 compact. I'll put a review on that. I want to have my likes and what is the really negative about it, and why I think that's a negative. It really pisses me off. But hey, I've got something bad to say about a CZ. All right, but hey, Jamie, nice talking to you. Kingpin, Scotsman, it's been good. Heath, yeah, you bore me. Folks in the side chat, take it easy.
All right, appreciate you, brother. Yeah, we had a pretty awesome chat there. Lots of good conversation. Lots of conversation going up in the side chat too. Appreciate everyone out there. And remember, this coming week we have another anniversary coming up, so I'll get a video out for that, and I need to try and get my oldest gun video done for Gun Wild 1. So try and get that video done as well. But appreciate everyone out there. Alan, take us out right, brother.
Oh man, great evening. Absolutely phenomenal side chat. I thoroughly enjoy reading what people put up there. Was gonna have a video out on this couple-year-old muzzle device. Obviously, that's not gonna end up happening. Next couple of weeks are going to be doing some other side projects that not really related to the channel. The one thing that I will remind you to do, though, is to keep them magazines loaded and one in the chamber. Woo!